Hello everyone, we are Lương and Huy, and today our topic is European security, and our outline involves two main questions. What does Brexit mean for EU security, and what are the challenges and prospects of EU security cooperation after Brexit? Hope that it will be useful for you guys. Let's get started with part 1. Brexit Brexit is a phrase composed of two words. Britain indicates the United Kingdom, and exit indicates the action of leaving the EU. We will come to remarkable event in the relationship over 40 years between United Kingdom and the EU. In 1951, when the European Code and Steel Community were established, Britain refused to join the community. By 1957, the United Kingdom had also rejected the invitation to join European Economic Community of the other six founding nations. After realizing that France and Germany had a rapid economic recovery after the war and formed a strong alliance, the country applied for EEC in 1961, but were rejected twice by French President Charles de Gaulle in 1963 and 1967. In 1973, Britain officially became a member of EEC. In 1992, the event Dark Wednesday occurred and marked a worst time in the relationship between UK and Europe. After failing to protect the British power from repeated speculative attacks, British Finance Minister Norman Lamont had to formally announce Britain's withdrawal from exchange rate mechanism Europe on 16 September 1992. Since 2010, when the EU began to face many difficulties, the debt crisis in Greece and the migration crisis, many people in the United Kingdom once again become suspicious of relations between the United Kingdom and the EU. So that Prime Minister David Cameron decided to open referendum on 23 June 2016 for deciding the fate of Britain in EU. The country divided into two sides, strong in supporting Britain's stay in EU are Prime Minister David Cameron, Conservative Party, Mr. Jeremy Corbyn, Labour Party leader, Treasury Secretary George Osborne, Conservation Party, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, and John Major. The other side is fully in favour of Britain leaving the EU and the former Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, Conservative Party. After the referendum, United Kingdom decided to leave the EU with 52% of vote leaving.
The second part is the meaning of Brexit for EU security. EU leaders maintain that the union of 27 countries continue, but the departure of a member state is unprecedented in the EU's history. Brexit will have political and economic repercussions for both the UK and the EU. The UK is the EU's second largest economy, a key diplomatic and military power within the EU. Along with Germany and France, the UK has long been viewed as one of the EU's big three and has served as a key driver of certain EU initiatives, especially EU efforts to forge more common foreign and security policies. Some experts suggest that given the UK's foreign policy clout and defense capability, Brexit could diminish the EU's role as an international actor. At the working level, EU officials are aggrieved to be losing British personnel with significant technical expertise and negotiating prowess on issues such as sanctions and dealing with countries like Russia and Iran. Brexit also might dampen prospects for further EU enlargement, in part because the EU has long been one of the staunchest supporters within the EU of continued expansion, including to Turkey. At the same time, some contend that Brexit could ultimately lead to a more like-minded EU able to pursue deeper integration without UK opposition. For example, Brexit could strengthen the prospects for closer EU defence cooperation because the UK traditionally served as a brake on certain measures in this area. The UK typically sought to circumscribe EU initiatives, such as establishing an EU military headquarters, that the EU viewed as infringing too much on national sovereignty or on NATO's
To
role
talk
in
about, we
European
provide the
security.
information about challenges of EU after Brexit. Challenges come from two main sides from Brexit, and the other is domestic challenges. About Brexit, in economics, EU is losing a country with a large contribution to economic, about 12.5 in total budget per year. Brexit could diminish the EU role as an international actor. At the working level, EU officials are losing British personnel with significant technical expertise and negotiating power on issues such as sanctions and dealing with countries like Russia and Iran. Brexit also might limit prospects for further EU enlargement, in part because UK has long been one of supporters within the EU of continued expansion, including Turkey. Brexit could ultimately lead to a more like-minded EU, able to pursue deeper integration without UK opposition. About domestic challenges, there are five main points here: migratory pressure and societal integration challenges. Europe has experienced significant migrant and refugee flow from people and conflict, poverty in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, South Asia, and elsewhere. According to the United Nations, more than 1 million refugees and migrants reached Europe in 2015. The EU has faced considerable criticism for lacking coherent, effective migration and asylum policy, which have been difficult to follow because of national sovereignty concerns and sensitive about minorities, integration and identity. Challenges to EU solidarity, the migrant and refugee flow have exposed deep division within the EU. Governments in Central Europe have been particularly vocal opponents in effort to redistribute refugees and migrants throughout the EU, fearing that migrants and refugees, many whom are Muslim, could alter the primarily Christian identity of their countries. Some Central European officials also had objected to accepting migrants and refugees because of their relative least affluent economic position within the EU. Tried to strengthen area of free movement, the migration and refugee flow have strengthened the Schengen area, regarded as central to European integration project. The area depends on confidence in the security of external border. Schengen has been tested not only by magnitude of migration flow, but also by concern that some terrorists may have been able to slip into European as a part of flow. Renewed concern about integration minority, the refugee and migrant have raised questions about EU country ability to integrate minority into European culture and society. Some member states in Central and Eastern Europe cite potential terrorism or other security risks in argue against accepting migrants and refugees into their country. At the same time, concern exists about increasing societal tension in the EU. Germany, Sweden, Italy and other EU countries has been an increase in number of violent incidents against migrants and refugees. About economic implications, the migrant and refugees in 2015 and 2016 strained welfare, education, and housing systems in many European countries. Some segments of the public worry that new corner could
In
take
the
jobs
last part,
or
I will talk
reduce
about the
work.
prospect of EU security cooperation after Brexit. There are four possible scenarios for the EU in the years ahead. The first one is muddling through. The EU would largely continue to function as it currently does, without any significant treaty changes or decision-making reforms, and find some degree of common solutions to crises such as those posed by migration or terrorism. The EU would continue to pursue integration and common policies where possible, although doing so could be increasingly difficult. The second one is establishing a two-speed or multi-speed EU. The EU would become a two-speed entity consisting of a strongly integrated group of core countries and a group of periphery countries, more free to select those EU policies in which they wish to participate. A multi-speed variant could see further integration pursued by member states in selected fields, such as European defense or Eurozone governance, and other EU members could choose to opt out. Some European policy makers and analysts suggest that such a multi-speed EU already exists in practice, with varying membership on a range of EU initiatives, including the Eurozone, Schengen, justice and home affairs issues, and defense policy, and thus it is unclear how formalizing a multi-speed EU would differ from existing practice. The third prospect is a looser, more intergovernmental configuration. Further EU integration essentially would be put on and possibly reserved in some areas, with sovereignty on certain issues reclaimed by national capitals. This outcome may be most likely should reform-minded Eurosceptic parties come to power in more EU countries. A looser structure may make it easy for the EU to expand to include Turkey, the remaining aspirants in the Western Balkans, and other countries such as Georgia and Ukraine. The last scenario is a tighter, more integrated configuration. The EU would emerge its current challenges more united and integrated. Some suggest such an outcome could actually be more likely as a result of Brexit, resulting in an EU of member states more aligned on the need for further political and economic integration. This configuration likely would not encourage further EU enlargement. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.